Okay, thank you. Welcome for our lesson today, which is 28th of April. Last time I had introduced the topic nutritional requirement for special groups, of which we had narrated some of the special groups. Last time, people who need some extra nutritional value for their growth and also for their health survival. The groups that we narrated here, we talked of the pregnant mothers, we talked of the expectant or pregnant mothers, lactating mothers or breastfeeding mothers, infants and babies. We have the people living with HIV and AIDS. We also discuss about vegetarians, people who are only feeding on green crops, foods from crops. We also discuss about invalids and convalescents, where we said invalids are people who are living with an ailment, different diseases. We have convalescent people who are recovering from a disease. We also discuss about elderly people, people who are old in age. And lastly, we also talked about manual workers. Those are the special groups that needs some extra nutrients for their survival and health growth. Now today we want to narrow down and talk about the nutritional value or nutritional foods that are required for a pregnant or expectant mothers. Now, when we talk of the expectant mothers, you have to understand which type of mother is this. From last time, I told you that an expectant or a pregnant mother is a mother or a woman who have conceived but has not yet given birth. From our first unit, you discussed about pregnant mothers, the process of fetal development. When the mother conceives, from the first state, fertilization takes place in the oviduct. Now the oviduct, after fertilization, the ovum with the sperm cell unite to form the zygote. After the zygote has been formed, then it moves down to the uterus, where it hangs implantation. It hangs itself on the uterine wall, where it does what we call cell division, and it grows into the embryo as it becomes the zygote. That is the first unit you covered. Now, how are we supposed to feed a pregnant mother or expectant mother? Expectant mother is a special group that needs special food for the health growth of the baby in the womb and also for the health growth of the mother. Now, what are some of the nutrients that should be provided to this mother? Because is two in one, herself and also the baby in the womb is depending on the diet of the mother. So you have to be very keen when you feed such a person. Now, what are some of the nutrients? Compulsory, you have to start with the balanced diet, where we have the rule of three. The rule of three are the carbohydrates, we have the proteins, and we have the vitamins. This is what we call the rule of three, and this is what gives the balanced diet. So in the diet that is taken by the pregnant mother, it should have carbohydrates, it should have proteins, and it should also have vitamins. To add on this, we should also provide supplement foods that have different nutrients for the strong growth of the mother and also the baby in the womb. Now, let us start with proteins. The nutrient given to the mother having proteins. What are some of the foods that have proteins, sources of proteins? Different foods have proteins. We have the animal products and also the legumes. Those are the sources of proteins. For example, when we talk about animal products, we have meat, we have fish, we have eggs, we have milk, we have legumes like beans, peas, green grams. So these are the sources of protein. We have the meat, we have fish, eggs, milk, and the legumes, which are beans, peas, and green gram. These are protein, some of the sources of protein that should be supplied to an expectant mother for proper growth. Now, why should we provide protein to a pregnant mother? Why should we add protein to an expectant mother? The reason is here: for proper growth of the baby. For proper growth of the baby. Now, when we say proper growth of the baby means, you understand the main function of protein is the building. This is the food that is known as, it builds the body, building the body. So it builds the organs of the baby and also the mother, also maintaining the mother's nutritional needs. So it builds the baby and also the mother, because they are two in one. Now that is the first nutrient that should be supplied to the pregnant mother. Number two, we have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are energy-giving foods that provide energy to the mother. Now, what are some of the sources of carbohydrates? I told you to go through your class 4 types of foods. If you have gone through class 4, now you will have to narrate all the sources of carbohydrates. These are cereals. We talk of maize, wheat, rice, oat, etc. Now, when you talk of maize, we don't just say roasted maize or cooked maize or boiled maize. When you talk of maize, you can say ugali. Ugali is from maize. So you are still talking about carbohydrates. When you talk of wheat, you can as well say chapati, anjera, mandazi. This one is from the baking flour, which is known as ungangano. That is wheat. Sometimes when we talk of chapati, you might think that it is not wheat. So wheat, the anjera, the chapati, mandazi, bread, scones, those are sources of carbohydrates. Rice and oats, some of the sources of carbohydrates, energy-giving foods. Now, why should we provide carbohydrates to expectant mothers? The reason is this: for proper growth of the baby, for proper growth of the baby. The baby should also be energetic as they grow. We also have proper functioning of the organs as they grow well, and proper functioning of the organs. Proper functioning of the body organs. As the baby grows, also the organs, the hands, the legs, and other organs of the body functions well. Now we also have to avoid too much fat of the mother, too much fattening of the mother, to avoid too much fattening of the mother. Why? Because it means that when you provide a lot of protein, these are body building foods, and you are not including carbohydrates in your diet, then it means that the mother and the baby will fatten too much. As the mother and the baby fatten too much because of the proteins, then you find that it is causing what we call heartburn, which can cause heartburn. The heart might start something like burning, or you feel pain in the heart. That is what we call heartburn because of too much fat. So you should avoid you should take a lot of carbohydrates to avoid fattening, being too much fat of the baby in the womb, and also the mother, to prevent heartburn. That is the reason. And also you might find that the baby in the womb is becoming obese. When the baby grows very fat, we say it is what we call obesity. Obesity, you might find that it is spoiling function of the heart. So when you grow too fat, or the baby grows too fat because of a lot of proteins, the baby becomes obese. So how can you avoid obesity or heartburn or growing too fat? It means that take a lot of carbohydrates to balance your nutritional value, or the nutrients that are required by an expectant mothers. Now, next, this is protein and carbohydrates. Next, let us talk about vitamins. Vitamins. What are the functions of vitamins? Why should we include vitamins in the pregnant mother's diet? Number 3, vitamins. Now when you talk about protein, carbohydrates and vitamins, and then it means that we will have talked about the rule of 3, balanced diet, the rule of 3. Now when you talk of the vitamins, these are protective foods that protect the body against diseases, the soldiers of the body. Now, what are the sources of vitamins? Sources of vitamins, we have fruits and vegetables. When I talk of fruits and vegetables, I know that you can all mention all the fruits and all the vegetables you learned in standard 4. Fruits, we have watermelon, we have bananas, we have apples, we have oranges, we have guavas, etc. and etc. Now the vegetables, when you talk of the vegetables, we have vegetables like cabbages, we have spinach, we have kales, we have pigweed, we have beans and pea leaves, we have nightshade, we have pumpkin leaves. There are so many vegetables you narrated in class 4. So you have to go back and know which one is a vegetable and which one is not a vegetable. Now, why should we provide vegetable in the pregnant mother's diet? To protect them from diseases. Protect them from diseases. I said vitamins are the foods that protect the body against diseases. So as they take fruits and vegetables, the immunity of the body improves and you cannot find that they are sickly. We also talk of protecting the body from disease, means improving immunity. Improves immunity. Improves immunity. The immune system of the body is the system that protects the body from diseases. So vitamins are nutrients which are got from fruits and vegetables, and they protect the body from diseases and also improves the immunity of the baby in the womb and also the mother. Okay, that is the rule of 3. The rule of 3, we have talked about carbohydrates, proteins and vitamins. Now I said we should not only provide these for the proper growth of the pregnant mother, we also have very important nutrients that should also be supplied apart from this one, and they are also very important. Now what are some of these nutrients I'm talking about? Some of these nutrients, we have vitamin D. Vitamins. You understand we have several vitamins. We have talked of the vitamins, sources of fruits and vegetables as vitamins. We have vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, and different sources and their different functions. We have already talked about that. So specifically I will talk about vitamin D, which is vitamin D, which is of great importance to an expectant mother. Why am I selecting vitamin E as a very important vitamin as per the expectant mother? I mean, let us first of all talk about the sources. What are some of the sources of vitamin D? What are some of the foods that should be eaten to supply vitamin D to the body? We have oily fish. We have margarine. We have eggs. We have natural sunlight. If you don't have money to purchase eggs, fish, margarine, you can just go and bask on the natural sunlight. It is also another very cheap source of vitamin D. Now, why should we supply this vitamin D to the expectant mother's diet? The reason is it helps in absorption of minerals. Helps in absorption of minerals. Example, calcium. Calcium is an example of minerals. It helps in absorption of minerals, which is calcium. And then we have formation of blood cells and healthy nerves. Formation of blood cells and proper functioning of the nerves. Okay, these are great importance of vitamin D. We have said the sources of vitamin D is oil fish, margarine, eggs, and sunlight. If you eat such a type of foods, then you are providing vitamin D to the body, which is very important to a pregnant mother. Now, why should we supply vitamin D? It helps in absorption of calcium. You understand calcium is a very important mineral for the better formation of the bones and teeth. Now, when you talk about formation of blood cells, in your standard 7, the first topic, circulatory system, you talked about the blood cells. We have the white blood cells, we have the red blood cells. Do you see that? Now, those are some of the cells that are formed by vitamin D, and also proper functioning of the nerves. You understand your body cannot function without nerves. Now the nerves, coordination of the hands and all the body organs, the brain, the legs, for whatever you do, the nerves must coordinate before you start functioning well. All the organs are connected by the nerves from the brains. Now, the nerves are maintained by these types of foods. I move to the next food that should be supplied to the pregnant or expectant mothers. These are minerals. Minerals. Let us talk about minerals. Under minerals, we have A, iron, B, we have calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. We have two categories of minerals. We will have to talk about the sources of these minerals and their functions. Now, when we talk about the iron, the sources of iron, we have eggs, beef, and liver. Eggs, beef, liver, spinach, kales. These are some of the sources of iron. Now, what is the function of iron? You understand the meaning of iron? Formation of hemoglobin. Formation of hemoglobin. We also have healthy blood to avoid anemia. These are the sources: eggs, beef, liver, spinach, and gills. Now, formation of hemoglobin in the red bone marrow. This hemoglobin is the one that transports oxygen in the blood. So when it is not formed, then there will have a problem of oxygen transportation. So this is the iron that forms the hemoglobin. Then we have the healthy blood to avoid anemia. Iron, when you lack iron in your body, now you'll find that the mother and the baby is suffering from anemia, lack of enough blood in the body because of iron. Now when you talk of the calcium, we have milk, fish, milk, fish, milk. We have liver, bone soup, we have geese and green vegetables, sources of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. We have fish, milk, liver, bone soup. Bone soup is the soup from the bones. The bones of a camel, bones of a cow, a cattle, goat. Those bones you just cook soup and drink. We have geese, which is a product of milk, green vegetables, you understand. These are some of the sources of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus for strong bones and teeth. For strong bones and teeth. Very important. We have talked about the calcium, the minerals, iron, and calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, their sources, and also their functions in the diet of a pregnant or an expectant mother. Now I move to the second last, which is fiber or roughage. What are the sources of fiber and roughage? Why should we include fiber or roughage in the diet of an expectant mother? Now, the reason is here: fiber or roughage. Fiber or roughage. The sources are just fruits and vegetables, just like vitamins. Vegetables. You understand that fruits and vegetables, we have the outer peelings of the fruits, like a mango. You are just supposed to wash it clearly, then eat without peeling the outer cover. It provides roughage. We also have parts of the vegetable that provides roughage. You understand that fiber is a type of food that is not digested by the body. It is not digested, but its function is to empty the bowel, to make sure that we have proper digestion of the food and also emptying the bowel. Now, why should we provide roughage in the diet of a pregnant or expectant mother? The reason is to improve digestion. To improve digestion. Another function of the roughage is prevent constipation. Prevent constipation. We have said that the function of the roughage is to empty the bowel. So you find that if you don't eat roughage, the sources of roughage, you might finish 3 days without visiting the toilet or the latrine. Or you just go there, stay there for 3 hours, you come out without doing anything. So you find that the undigested food materials remaining in the body become toxic, which is poisonous to the body. So you have to take roughage and empty. So the toxic substance that remains in the body is also dangerous, which can kill or can create complication to the baby, the fetus, or the mother. So the roughage or the fiber is very important. Then lastly, blend of fluids. Blend of fluids. What can be the source of blend of fluids? One is water, then fruit juice, fruit juice, milk, porridge, milk, we have porridge, and lastly we have soup. The sources of plenty of water, fluids I mean, we have water, milk, fruit juices, water, soup and porridge. Now what is the function of these to an expectant mother? To prevent dehydration. 1, to prevent dehydration. Number 2, to maintain proper level of amniotic fluid. To maintain proper level of amniotic. The function of plenty of fluid, their sources: water, fruit juice, milk, porridge and also soup. 1, to prevent drying of the body, dehydration of the body, also to maintain proper level of amniotic fluid. When we talk about amniotic fluid, I know it is not a vocabulary because you covered in the first unit the fetal development and you talked about the function of the amniotic fluid. So what is maintaining amniotic fluid in the mothers, in the pregnant mother, is plenty of fluid. So to that point, that is the end of our lesson today. We meet next time. Thank you.